Sarah Collins never liked charity events. Too many fake smiles and glittered lies. But that night, the Collins family name was plastered across banners, and as the only daughter of the renowned businessman Richard Collins, she had to show up. Her parents' recent divorce still made headlines, and Sarah was exhausted from pretending everything was fine. In a shimmering navy dress, she stood beside her father, who looked as effortlessly confident as ever, the picture of charm and wealth. "You look beautiful, sweetheart," he said. Sarah smiled weakly. "Thanks, Dad. I'll go greet Victoria." Victoria Gray, her best friend, confidant, and classmate, was radiant in red. Her laugh carried across the hall like a song. Sarah proudly led her to her father. "Dad, meet Victoria, my partner in crime." Mr. Collins chuckled, shaking Victoria's hand. "A pleasure, Miss Gray. Any friend of Sarah's is a friend of mine." His tone was warm, perhaps a little too warm. Victoria smiled, her eyes lingering on him a second too long. That night, the three of them shared laughter and stories over champagne. Sarah thought it was one of those rare good days when her father seemed human again. She didn't know it would be the day that ruined everything. As the party ended, Mr. Collins offered Victoria a ride home. "It's late, and it's no trouble." Sarah waved them off with a smile. And as the car drove away, Victoria glanced back through the tinted window, her heartbeat quickening, for reasons she couldn't yet name. Months passed quietly. Sarah was buried in her final year thesis while her father traveled often for business. Victoria grew distant, missing classes, avoiding hangouts, always with new excuses. "Family stuff," she'd say vaguely. But Sarah's instincts whispered otherwise. One night, while studying, she saw her father's new WhatsApp display picture, a photo of a sunset from a viewpoint Sarah had never seen. Minutes later, Victoria posted the exact same view on her Instagram story with the caption, "Unexpected company." Sarah's chest tightened. Coincidence? Maybe. But when she called Victoria, she didn't answer. The next morning, Sarah stopped by her father's mansion unannounced. The maid smiled nervously. "Miss Sarah, Sir's having breakfast." "Good, I'll join him." But as she stepped into the dining room, she froze. Victoria sat there, in her father's shirt, sipping coffee casually as if she owned the place. Mr. Collins looked startled but composed. "Sarah," he began, voice calm but uneasy. What is this?" she asked, trembling. Victoria stood abruptly. "Sarah, please, I can explain." "Explain what?" "That my best friend's sleeping with my father." Sarah's voice broke, her world spinning. Mr. Collins rose slowly. "It's not like that." Sarah stepped back, tears welling. "Then what is it like, Dad?" Neither answered. The silence screamed the truth louder than words ever could. Sarah locked herself in her apartment for days. The image of Victoria in her father's shirt haunted her dreams. Her heart burned with rage, confusion, and heartbreak all at once. How could the two people she loved most betray her this way? Victoria called over and over. Texts poured in. "Please, Sarah, just hear me out. I didn't plan this." "I swear." But Sarah deleted every message without reading. By the third day, Victoria appeared at her door, eyes red and swollen. "Sarah, please," she whispered. Sarah crossed her arms. "You've got 30 seconds. Victoria's voice quivered. "Your dad was lonely. We started talking after the event. It was harmless at first. Coffee, advice, small talk. Then it grew." "Grew?" Sarah hissed. "You mean you fell for him?" Victoria nodded tearfully. "I didn't mean to." "He listens, Sarah. He makes me feel seen." Sarah laughed bitterly. "So do therapists, Victoria." "You could have seen one instead of seeing him." Victoria's lip trembled. "I love him." The words hit Sarah like a slap. "Then you've lost me." Victoria's tears fell freely. "I never wanted to hurt you." Sarah's voice broke as she whispered, "But you did." Then she shut the door, and with it, the friendship that once meant everything. Mr. Collins called repeatedly, but Sarah ignored him. When she finally picked up, her voice was cold. "If this is about Victoria, don't bother." Her father sighed heavily. "I didn't expect this to happen. I was lonely. She made me laugh again." Sarah's heart ached. "She was my best friend, Dad. Doesn't that mean anything?" He paused. "It means everything. But love, it finds its way, even when it shouldn't." Sarah scoffed. "That's not love, Dad. That's selfishness wrapped in charm." Later, she called her mother Eleanor, who lived abroad. Eleanor's tone was icy. "Your father always had a weakness for young girls." "I'm not surprised." "Mum, please don't." "Don't what? Tell the truth?" Eleanor snapped. "You'll learn soon enough that your father only loves himself." Sarah hung up in tears. It felt like her world was collapsing. Her family, her friendships, even her faith in love. At school, whispers began. "Did you hear? Sarah's best friend is dating her dad." Laughter followed her everywhere. And as Sarah stared at herself in the mirror that night, one thought consumed her. If the people closest to me can betray me this deeply, who can I ever trust again? A month later, Victoria reached out again, not to apologize this time, but to confess. "Your dad asked me to move in," she said softly. Sarah's heart sank. "He what?" "I told him no, for now," Victoria whispered. "I can't do that unless you're okay." Sarah laughed bitterly. "You're sleeping with him, Victoria." "My okay expired the moment you crossed that line." Victoria's eyes welled. "I wish I could undo it, but I can't. I love him, Sarah, and he wants a future with me." Sarah's lips trembled. "Then have your future. Just don't expect me in it." Meanwhile, Mr. Collins confided in his business partner, James. "Sarah hates me," he said quietly. "I want happiness, not war." James replied carefully, "Richard, you're not wrong to love again, but maybe you chose the wrong person to find it with." At home, Sarah burned with anger but also sorrow. Every night she replayed old memory of the three of them, laughing, joking, before love ruined everything. As she lay awake, her phone buzzed, a message from her father. "I'm proposing to Victoria tomorrow." Sarah's tears fell silently. Love had finally torn her family apart for good. Moonlight streamed through Sarah's window, but it couldn't brighten her mood. She sat on her bed, still staring at the message. "I'm proposing to Victoria tomorrow." The words felt like daggers. Anger, grief, disbelief, all tangled within her chest. "He's lost his mind," she whispered. She wanted to call and scream, but what would it change? He'd made his choice. The next day, she couldn't resist. She drove to her father's house uninvited. The mansion was filled with fresh roses, candles, and a dinner table set for two. From the hallway, she watched her father, holding a diamond ring. "Victoria Gray, will you marry me?" Tears streamed down Victoria's face. "Yes," she whispered, trembling. Sarah gasped audibly and both turned. Mr. Collins froze mid-motion. "Sarah, how could you?" she choked. "You're marrying my best friend." Victoria ran to her. "Sarah, please, don't touch me," Sarah screamed. "You've already taken everything from me." Her father's voice softened. "Sarah, you'll understand one day." But she didn't wait to hear more. She stormed out, slamming the door so hard the chandelier shook. Outside, under the night sky, Sarah broke down completely. Her tears mixed with rain, her heart shattering as the echoes of her father's proposal followed her into the darkness. A week later, the Collins family mansion was the scene of yet another grand affair, this time an engagement celebration. But behind every smile, tension brewed like fire beneath glass. Sarah had refused to attend, but the media made sure she couldn't ignore it. Every headline screamed, "Business tycoon Richard Collins engaged her daughter's best friend. College girl marries her friend's father. Love or betrayal?" Her phone buzzed non-stop. Some classmates mocked her. Others pitied her. She turned it off, but not before seeing Victoria's Instagram post. A photo of the ring with the caption, "When love finds you unexpectedly." Unable to contain her fury, Sarah arrived at the mansion that night uninvited. The music paused when she walked in. Eyes turned. Mr. Collins looked both proud and nervous. Sarah walked straight to Victoria. "Enjoying the spotlight?" she said coldly. Victoria whispered, "Please don't do this here." "Why not? You did this to me publicly." The guests murmured. Mr. Collins stepped in, his voice firm. "That's enough, Sarah." Sarah's eyes filled with tears. "You've already chosen her, Dad. Just remember, when this all falls apart, you'll have lost me too." She walked out slowly, every step echoing like a closing chapter. Behind her, the applause resumed, but no one noticed Victoria's tears. Sarah stopped speaking to both of them. She deleted their numbers, blocked their messages, and poured herself into finishing her thesis. But the loneliness was suffocating. Late one evening, her mother called again. "I saw the news," Eleanor said, voice sharp. "Your father's making a fool of himself." "I don't care," Sarah muttered, but she did care deeply. Eleanor continued, "If it's too much for you, you can come stay with me, okay? Don't let their chaos destroy your peace." After the call, Sarah sat in silence. Then, unexpectedly, she broke down. Her anger wasn't just about betrayal, it was about love. She missed her father. She missed her best friend. And worst of all, she missed how things used to be. The next day, Victoria showed up on campus. She looked pale, worn out. "Sarah, I'm pregnant," she whispered. Sarah's world froze. "You? What?" "I didn't mean to tell you like this, but I thought you should know. I wanted you to hear it from me, not the press." Sarah stared at her for a long time before whispering, "You've completely destroyed us." Victoria's tears spilled. "I didn't plan this, Sarah. I swear I didn't." Sarah turned away, trembling. "Then maybe you should start planning how to live with it." By the following week, the internet was on fire. News sites ran stories about the scandalous engagement. And now, the pregnancy. "Billionaire's fiancé expecting baby," the headline screamed. Mr. Collins' reputation took a hit. Business meetings were cancelled, clients pulled back. Reporters camped outside his gate. Inside the mansion, Victoria sat curled on the couch, scrolling through cruel comments online. "Gold digger, homewrecker, disgusting." She dropped the phone, shaking. Mr. Collins entered quietly, setting a hand on her shoulder. "Ignore them," he said softly. "They don't know you." She looked up with tears in her eyes. "Maybe they're right. Maybe I deserve this." He held her hand gently. "You don't, Victoria." Meanwhile, Sarah watched the coverage from her apartment, anger warring with guilt. Despite everything, seeing her father publicly humiliated hurt her deeply. That night, she received a call from her father. She almost ignored it, but something in her heart made her answer. "Sarah," his voice cracked. "I know you hate me, but I need you. Everything's falling apart." Sarah hesitated, voice trembling. "I don't hate you, Dad. I just don't know who you are anymore." Rain fell softly as Sarah drove to her father's house for the first time in months. She wasn't sure what to expect: anger, guilt, maybe regret. But she found something she didn't anticipate: vulnerability. Her father sat in the living room, looking older, defeated. "Victoria wasn't there. She's resting upstairs," he said quietly. "The stress hasn't been good for her." Sarah sat across from him. For a long time, neither spoke. Finally, she said, "Why her, Dad?" He sighed, eyes glassy. "Because she reminded me of your mother, her laughter, her drive, her kindness. The things I lost when your mother left." Sarah felt her throat tighten. "That's not love, Dad. That's loneliness wearing perfume." He smiled sadly. "Maybe, but she made me feel alive again. I just wanted to be happy, even if it destroyed your daughter." He closed his eyes. "I never wanted to lose you." Sarah stood to leave, but paused at the door. "You already did." As she walked out, she glanced upstairs and saw Victoria watching from the balcony, eyes full of sorrow. For the first time, Sarah didn't feel anger. She just felt tired. And deep down, she wondered if forgiveness was still possible, or if the damage was simply too deep to heal. The following week, Sarah got a call that froze her world. "Miss Collins," the voice said urgently. "There's been an accident." "It's your father." Her phone slipped from her hand. Within an hour, she was racing to the hospital, tears streaming as rain battered the windshield. When she arrived, Victoria sat in the waiting area, her face pale and streaked with tears. "What happened?" Sarah gasped. "He was on his way to meet a journalist," Victoria whispered shakily. "He wanted to stop the rumors. His car, it lost control." Sarah stared at her, numb. Her father, the man she'd loved, hated, and resented, was lying unconscious in the IQ. Through the glass window, she saw him, motionless, pale, a bandage around his head. Her heart broke open. "Oh God." "Dad," Victoria reached for her hand. "Sarah, I know you hate me. But please, we need to be strong for him." Sarah hesitated. Then, without a word, she let Victoria's trembling fingers intertwine with hers. Hours passed. Machines beeped softly, the air thick with regret. Sarah sat beside her father's bed, whispering, "I was so angry. I never said I still love you." That moment, she didn't feel hate. She just felt loss, the kind that cut too deep to name. Hours later, Mr. Collins finally opened his eyes. Weak but smiling faintly, he whispered, "You came." Sarah nodded, tears blurring her vision. "You scared me half to death, Dad." He chuckled softly, then looked at Victoria, who stood at the doorway, eyes swollen. "You both deserve better than what I gave you." Victoria moved closer, gripping his hand. "Don't say that. I should have walked away when I saw what it was doing to Sarah." He shook his head gently. "No, Victoria, you made me happy. But maybe happiness built on someone else's pain can never last." Sarah's throat tightened. "Dad." He turned to her, eyes sincere. "I was selfish, Sarah. I wanted to feel alive again. But I should have known love isn't something you borrow from someone else's world." Tears streamed down her cheeks. "You broke my heart, Dad. But I can't hate you anymore." He smiled weakly. "That's my girl." As she sat beside him, Sarah finally understood forgiveness wasn't about forgetting. It was about freeing herself from the weight of bitterness. Victoria stepped out quietly, her heart sinking. She knew she would never fit into their world again. And maybe, just maybe, it was time to let go. A month passed. Mr. Collins was discharged from the hospital, weaker but peaceful. Sarah stayed by his side, slowly rebuilding the fragile bridge between them. Victoria visited less often. Her belly had begun to show, but her presence filled the house with quiet sadness. One evening, Sarah found her on the porch, gazing at the sunset. "Leaving?" Sarah asked softly. Victoria nodded. "I think it's best. Your father needs peace." "You both do." Sarah hesitated, then sat beside her. "Victoria, I don't forgive you completely. But I can't carry this hate anymore." Tears filled Victoria's eyes. "I don't deserve your kindness." "Maybe not," Sarah whispered. "But my dad's child deserves peace, even if it's not from me." Victoria smiled through her tears. "Thank you, Sarah. That means more than you know." They sat in silence, watching the sun disappear behind the hills. Two broken hearts, finding a small piece of healing in the same pain. When Victoria drove away the next morning, Sarah stood by the window, whispering goodbye, not to her friend, but to the version of herself who'd lived in anger for too long. 6 months later, Sarah graduated, alone on stage, yet strangely at peace. Her father sat in the audience, clapping proudly, his face glowing with quiet pride. After the ceremony, he hugged her tightly. "You've grown stronger than I ever imagined." Sarah smiled. "Because I had to." That night, over dinner, he handed her an envelope. Inside was a handwritten letter. "In case anything happens," he said softly. "Read it when you're ready." Few months later, he passed away peacefully in his sleep, No warnings, no pain, just silence. Sarah found the letter on her desk one morning during her grief. It read, "My dearest Sarah, if you're reading this, know that you are always my greatest love. I made mistakes, terrible ones, but your forgiveness gave me peace I didn't deserve. Live fully, laugh loudly, and never let love make you small. Dad." She clutched the letter to her chest, sobbing. And in that moment she felt something break. Not in pain, but in release. A year later, Sarah stood at her father's grave, the breeze brushing against her face. Beside her, a small child toddled toward her, Victoria's son. Victoria approached slowly, dressed simply, eyes calm but sad. "He wanted to meet you," she said gently. Sarah knelt, smiling faintly at the child. "He looks like Dad," Victoria nodded. "He has his eyes." Silence lingered between them, not tense but peaceful. "I'm schooling again," Victoria said quietly. "Trying to start over." Sarah smiled. "I'm glad. Maybe we both finally can." As Victoria walked away with her son, Sarah placed fresh flowers on the grave. "You got your happy ending in a way, Dad," she whispered. "And I got my peace, because in the end, forgiveness wasn't surrender, it was freedom." Thanks for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Your support means a lot and it's truly appreciated.